जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्वा आशा जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्वा आशा चक्षुरान दिलो दे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से 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 दिव्य ज्ञान दे प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान दे प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान दे प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान दे भक्ति जहा होते आगित्या विनाशा जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहा होते आगित्या विनाशा जाते वेदी गाय जहर चरितो वेदी गाय जहर चरितो वेदी गाय जहर चरितो वेदी गाय शिला प्रभुपाद की नित्याय गौर की हरे कृष्ण विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने प्रदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी अशतादिशतारिणे
शिला प्रभुपाद की की बजयो जयो गौराचंदे आरती को सो की बजयो जयो गौराचंदे शिला प्रभुपाद की
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकार्य शुद्ध भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकार्य अष्टोत्तर भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की रामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की मथुरा धाम की वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारिका धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Praschata Deshotarine. Jai.
Prabhuji, do you have another mic also? Second mic? Yeah. Abhiraj. Abhiraj. Ram, where is Ram? You come from Ram?
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pranadadadadayine. Pranadadadadayine. Hiranyakashipu Rakshaha. Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Narasimhadev ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I think today so many special things. Of course, we have our devotee friends, their anniversary. Kunal Prabhuji and Dipti Mataji. The other special thing is we have our senior devotees return. So feel really blessed to have Kashyap Muni Prabhu, Panchmi Mataji and Kavya Mataji. Give them a big applause. Okay, so somebody's birthday. Avnind's birthday. He's not here, I think, but we will wish him towards the end of before Prasadam. So today is really special day for many reasons, and
also Radha Shyam Sundar after 5 years.
exactly. Yeah.
We are taking the darshan.
After 5 weeks, we are taking Radha Shyam Sundar's darshan. So today is special for many, many reasons. Okay, so today's program, I think we don't have any new devotees, but I will still say that my name is Gitika Tiwari and I am your MC today. So far, what we have done is the Guru Aarti. It was sung by Deepa Mataji, Gaura Aarti, it was sung by Panchmi Mataji, and Narsimha Aarti by Manha and Abhiraj. Abhiraj has attempted the Narsimha Aarti very first time. So special clapping for him. And our Mradanga and Kartal team, it was played by Ram, Vivan, Sharvin, and today Kashyap Muni Prabhuji also helped. So give everyone a big round of applause. Okay. So the next segment of our program is the Bhagavad Gita Shloka recitation. As we all know that the Sunday school children have started reciting the Shloka and sharing their reflection. Today's Shloka is 2.69 and it will be recited by Abhiraj. Just a reminder that there is a sequence, he will be reciting one line each time, then 2 lines and then the entire Shloka, and we will recite after him. Yeah?
या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यं जागर्ति संयमी यस्यं जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यं जागर्ति संयमी यस्यं जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यं जागर्ति संयमी यस्यं जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is the night for the introspective sage. Yeah, my reflection is that there are two type of men, one materialistic and the other are spiritually enlightened. So materialistic men are saying that the spiritually enlightened people are sleeping when they should be enjoying the materialistic things. But the spiritually enlightened people are saying that they're sleeping and they should be awakened from the sleep of materialistic things and sense some gratification.
Which party you would like to be? Materialistic or spiritualistic or spiritualistic?
I think he deserves another round of applause. He memorized the shloka. Thank you, Abhiraj. Nicely explained. Okay, so the next segment of our program is I'll share teaching from Srila Prabhupada's Vani. This is about the steel screw analogy. Srila Prabhupada often used simple analogies to convey deep spiritual lessons. One such analogy is about steel screw in a machine. Imagine a steel screw in a large machine. Each screw has its specific role. If a screw decides to leave the machine, thinking it's unimportant or desiring to act independently, the machine may stop functioning properly. Similarly, the screw disconnected from the machine loses its purpose and utility. However, when the screw remains fixed in its place, it contributes to the successful operation of the entire machine. So this is all about the machine, how it relates to, this analogy relates to us. The teaching is about staying connected to the Supreme. Srila Prabhupada used this analogy to explain the relationship between the soul and God or Krishna, our role in the universal. That's the number one thing. Every living being has a specific role in Krishna's creation, much like the screw in the machine. When we align with Krishna's will, we become harmonious and purposeful. The second, the danger of independence. When a person acts independently, disconnected from Krishna, like the screw leaving the machine, they may lose their purpose and become spiritually adrift. Number 3, steadfast devotion. By remaining connected through devotion, service, and humility, we fulfill our true purpose and contribute to the spiritual upliftment of ourselves and others. Bolo Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, so now the Sunday school kids can go. So, I think we all know Kashyap Muni Prabhuji, and Prabhuji is always being humble, doesn't want his introduction to be repeated. So I'll skip that part, but I think we can sing Hare Krishna and welcome our speaker for today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Please welcome our speaker for today, Kashyap Muni Prabhuji. After a long time.
I'm going to be rusty.
Rusty, and I'm curious to see about the Chiyam Prabhuji.
Absolutely, I have forgotten about that one.
Hare Krishna. We'll sing Jai Radha Madhava. Yes, ma'am.
Jai Radha
Kunja Bihari Kijan Vallabh Giridhari.
Jaya Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabh Giridharadhari.
Jaya Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kritika Mataji. It's good to be back. India trip was great, but it is great to be back also. So I'm going to hide behind the jet lag phenomena, and I'm going to say that if you feel that I'm not speaking coherently, then I'm in jet lag. You know, that's something I can use it right now, right? For today at least. I used it at work also. So we are going to read today from Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm going to share my screen. I've given the title, The Unknowable Lord. Let's recite some of the traditional verses that we recite before we do any reading on Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
I don't hear anything from Prabhu's. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttam Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttam Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Mukham Karoti Vachalam.
Mukam Karoti Vachalam.
Pangum Langayate Girim.
Pangum Langayate Girim.
Yat Kripatam Aham Vande.
Yat Kripatam Aham Vande.
Shri Gurum Dinataranam.
Shri Gurum Dinataranam.
So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, verse 38. Please repeat after me. Yashavatar karmani.
Yashavatar Karmani.
Gayanti asmad adayah.
Gayanti Hasmadaya.
Nayam vidanti tatvena.
Nayam Vidanti Tattvena.
Tasmai bhagavate namaha.
Tasmai Bhagavate Namaha.
Yashavatar karmani.
Yashavatar Karmani.
Gayanti गायन्ति हि अस्मात् आदयः
गायन्ति हि अस्मादादयः
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
From Prabhuji's side. Go ahead. Yeah. Just make everybody recite.
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
गायन्ति हि अस्मदधे
गायन्ति अस्मदादयः
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
Sagar Prabhu, recite. Make everybody recite Prabhu. You don't need any time to settle down.
यस्वावता कर्माणि
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
गायन्ति
गायन्ति हस्यं दादयः
गायन्ति अस्मादादयः
नयं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
Mataji's.
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
गायन्ति अस्मदादयः
गायन्ति अस्मदादयः
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
Any other Mataji's who would like to, you want to do it? Go ahead.
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
यस्यावतार कर्माणि
गायन्ति यस्मदादयः
गायन्ति अस्मदादयः
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
तस्मै भगवते नमः.
Thank you. So we are going to just look at the synonyms. Yashya,
यस्य
whose,
Whose
avatara,
अवतार
incarnation,
incarnation
karmani,
कर्माणि
activities,
activities
gayanti,
गायन्ति
chanting glorification,
chanting glorification
he,
he
indeed,
indeed
asmat adayah,
अस्मादादयः
persons like us,
persons like us
na,
na
do,
do
not,
do not
yam,
yam
whom,
whom
vidanti,
vidanti
no,
no
tatvena,
tatvena
sent person as he is,
7% as he is
tasmai,
tasmai
unto him,
unto him
bhagavate,
bhagavate
unto the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna,
unto the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna
namaha,
namaha
respectful obeisances.
respectful obeisances.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose incarnations and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though he can hardly be fully known as he is. It is said that the transcendental name, form, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia, personality, etc. cannot possibly be perceived by the gross materialistic senses. But when the senses are purified by the process of hearing, chanting, remembering, and worshipping the lotus feet of the holy deity, etc., the Lord reveals himself proportionately to the advancement of the quality of devotional service. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. One should not expect the Lord to be an order supplying agent who must be present before us as soon as we desire to see him. We must be ready to undergo the prescribed devotional duties, following the path shown by the predecessors in the disciplic succession from Brahma, Narada, and similar authorities. As the senses are progressively purified by bona fide devotional service, the Lord reveals His identity according to the spiritual advancement of the devotee. But one who is not in the line of devotional service can hardly perceive Him simply by calculations and philosophical speculations. Such a hard worker can present a jugglery of words before an audience, but can never know the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His personal feature. The Lord has clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita that one can know Him only by devotional service. Does anyone remember which verse He is talking about? Yes, my friend. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. So, yeah. Does the sorry, I'm
Clearly stated.
No one can.
no one can know the Lord by any puffed up material process of challenge, but the humble devotee can please the Lord by his earnest devotional activities. Thus the Lord reveals Himself proportionately before the devotee. Lord Brahma therefore offers his respectful obeisances as a bona fide spiritual master and advises us to follow the process of Sravana and Kirtana. Simply by this process, or simply by hearing and chanting the glories of the activities of the Lord's incarnation, one can certainly see within himself the identity of the Lord. We have already discussed this subject in volume 1 Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with this verse. The conclusion is that one cannot know the Supreme Personality of Godhead fully by any method, but He can be seen and felt partially by the devotional service process of hearing, chanting, etc. Okay? Om Tyam Timirandasya Gnanam Shalakaya Chakshurunvilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dati Swakadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Rutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sadhajatam Sagan Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Many times we ask this question, why we cannot see God? Like, we want to see God, like, okay. Why is He not appearing? Why is He not seen? Why is He, like hiding behind somewhere? Why we cannot see Him? So if we think about it in Bhagavatam, the theme of this unknowability of the Lord is repeated throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. So we cannot, so what does the verse say is very, very clear. It says that Yasha Avtar Karmani Gayanti Hi Asmat Dadeha Na Ayam Vidanti Tatvena. That means we cannot know Krishna fully. We cannot know. So that is what this particular verse is saying. And as I mentioned, this theme has been repeated throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. And the bottom line is we cannot know Him truly. We may know Him partially, but we can never know Him truly. So Lord is the supreme controller, and when things happen in our lives, everybody has faced some sort of reversal in their life, right? Some problems. Is there anyone here who doesn't have any problem? I would be happy to have that person, but I hope that it's not the case, because at some point of the time, everybody has some sort of reversal that comes in their lives. And so the Lord is the supreme controller. And when things happen in our lives that is beyond our control, we ascribe those actions to the Lord in some ways. Can someone give me an example? When something wrong happens, what do people say?
Why me?
Why me? Yes.
You just say, oh God. Sorry, it's just people say, oh God.
Oh God, yes.
Please help me.
Say an earthquake happens, then what do people ascribe this action to? Because it is not in their control, right? So what do they say?
It's God's wrath. Or
It's God's wrath, right? Like, I mean, it's God is doing this. Somehow it is God doing. Even if you think about it, even atheistic people, when it comes to any, like COVID or any earthquake or any tornado or anything, they want to make sure that they blame to the God. Although they themselves don't believe it, but they say that it must be the God's doing, So I don't know whether we consider that at some point or some level, they also believe in God, right? Because when something bad happens, they want to give it to the Lord.
Well,
And when
even insurance companies, act of God.
yes, act of God is actually not covered, right? Like
Yeah,
act of
exactly.
God
It's
is
not
not
covered,
covered,
yeah.
yeah.
Act of
Because
God.
they don't want to take responsibility.
That's right.
Whatever happens. Like God is not our responsibility. So there is two things that people think about when they ascribe those actions. It is either God's intention or God's sanction. So why did the Lord let this happen, or why did God make this happen, right? Either say let this happen or make this happen. So adversity, it comes into mainly into two ways. Either like people ascribe adversity to two things: God made this happen, or actually God orchestrated this whole thing. God is so bad that He orchestrated this thing and this thing has happened. So that is something that people think about. And another is God let this happen. God let this happen. Why? There is one particular verse in Bhagavad Gita 13.23 where Krishna says that He is the Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta and Bhokta. So 13.23, if you look it up, this particular verse, you will see that. So it means Anumanta. What is Anumanta means? Means someone who is allowing this or approving this. He is sanctioning this thing. Anumanta. So Upadrashta. Upadrashta means someone who is going to oversee these things. Upadrashta. So, and Bharta and Bhokta. So God is letting this thing happen. If you take some examples from Mahabharata, when Dusasan, he disrobed or he tried to disrobe Draupadi, Krishna was there. Not physically, he was not there, but Krishna was, on the planet, on this planet, right? And he let it happen. He let that happen. He stopped it eventually, but at least she was insulted in a big time, right? Like Draupadi was insulted in a big way. So at some level, he let this thing happen. So this very perplexing question is that, this can bring such dissatisfaction in us, that how can God let something like this happen? Draupadi, who was Draupadi? Draupadi was a close associate of Lord Krishna. He had a very good relationship with Draupadi, right? And he had given different names to her, and then Pandava's wife, and everything was great. And yet Krishna let that insult happen to Draupadi. So this kind of questions sometimes bring, when we don't get any satisfactory answer, one may lose faith in God. One may feel that God does He really exist? I think at all of us at some level, at some point of time, we do ask this question, does he really exist? Although we come here every Sunday, at home also we pray to Krishna, but at some point when things doesn't really go our way, or some, like something that logically defies our thinking, that, like this person is so nice, and yet this is happening to this person. So those things are, like beyond our understanding. And when we don't get any satisfactory answer, we may lose faith in God. Example in Bhagavatam. How does Bhagavatam start? With Parikshit Maharaj, right? What happened to Parikshit Maharaj? I'm sure some of you know, but if you don't know, then like Parikshit Maharaj was the grandson of Arjun, and he was the king after Pandavas left the planet. And he was ruling, and the time of Kali Yuga started to advance. And at that time, one time he was going hunting, and as he went for hunting, he got thirsty. And he was thirsty, and he went to a sage's ashram. And then he saw that the sage is sitting in the meditative posture, but yet he was thirsty. So he said, "Can you please give me water?" And the sage was in meditation, and he didn't, he didn't pay attention because he was focused in something else. So it made Parikshit Maharaj very, very angry. And what he did, he picked up a dead snake, and put it around the sage's neck, and then he left from that point. Now, sage woke up and he just, put it down. He didn't know who did this, or he knew, but he didn't really react at that point. But then his son came in, Shringi, and then Shringi, when he saw this and his father being, in a way insulted, then or offended, then he was very, very upset. And with his, vision, he could understand that this was done by Parikshit Maharaj, and he cursed him. And not, like, okay, you are going to lose a hand, or you are going to lose something, or money, or anything, nothing like that. He says you are going to die with a snake bite within 7 days. So what do we see in this thing? What is perplexing in the whole situation is that there was a uncharacteristic action from the point of view of Parikshit Maharaj. We don't expect Parikshit Maharaj, who is such a saintly person, who was, that he wouldn't do something like that to a sage, even though he is thirsty or he is being agitated or anything. He had his senses in his control, but he still did that. That is number one. And then there was a huge reaction. There was a huge reaction from the sage's son. And that is also unexpected. That was an unfair reaction. So then that all these things makes us think that what is God's role in all these things? Why would he let these things happen? So as I mentioned, Srimad Bhagavatam has repeatedly addressed this theme of unknowability of the Lord's plan. And philosophically we can understand that God is great, and we may not be able to understand that. That is fine. But however, at a personal level, it still affects us. This kind of thing still affects us. Another example, gopis. Gopis gave up everything for Krishna. What did they do? In the middle of the night, just when Krishna was playing flute, they left their husbands, their families, everything, and then they went into the forest just to please Krishna. It's not to please themselves, just to please Krishna. They will go into the forest and do the rasa dance. So someone who had completely given up everything, full surrender to Krishna, no questions asked, what did the Lord do? He left them. He left them, and he never met them after that. Like, he left Vrindavan. There are different caveats and different things in that, but we will not go into that part. on principle, like, I mean, when you look at from the external point of view, you know that like Krishna did not return to Vrindavan after he left Vrindavan. He met gopis in the Kurukshetra, but that is way after. So, and in a different situation and different environment. However, but this episode happened during the Rasa Leela, Krishna disappeared. Some of you probably know that Krishna just simply disappeared because gopis had like kind of a pride. They were feeling that, oh, Krishna is mine and Krishna is with me. So they were a little bit proud. So that is why Krishna Krishna disappeared from the scene. And in this episode, the gopis became very, very indignant. So not indignant means they did not just become angry, but they become angry because of the injustice that they felt into the whole episode that happened. So what do we understand from this is that Lord's actions are perplexing even for the great souls like gopis also. Gopis, Parikshit Maharaj, Pandavas. If Pandavas wanted to ask, they could have asked so many times that why us? We are being the nicest people in the universe. Why us? Krishna, you are with us and still these things are happening. So they could have asked. So they would have. In case of Arjun fought a brutal war, a terrible war. That war in which he had to fight and kill the person for whose pleasure he became the warrior, and that is Bhishma. For Bhishma's pleasure, he had become a warrior. As a kid, what do? You want to please your grandpa that I can shoot the arrow, and so that's what he did, and he became basically a warrior to please please Bhishma, and that is that same person Arjuna ended up killing, fighting against and then killing. So in the whole story, Krishna did not go back when he was speaking Bhagavad Gita. He did not go and tell Arjun that way back in many previous births, actually Arjun, you were this and then Bhishma was that, and then he did something wrong to you, and then you had to come back, and that's why the whole story happened. Krishna did not go into any such details or any of those things. He simply asked him, you have to fight, you fight. So he did not ascribe any reasons for why this has to happen. If you look at the evil, you are familiar with the concept of evil, good and evil, right? So evil has two aspects to it. One aspect is that one is called natural evil and another is called moral evil. What is a natural evil? Is when bad things happen to good people. That is a natural evil. But what is moral evil? Moral evil is when good people do bad things. So, and this both are very, very confusing, very, very perplexing. Why good things happen to bad people, bad thing happens to good people, and why good people do bad things. All of us sometimes, we do something which we regret later on, and we think that, why did I do this? I normally don't do this. Why did I do this thing? So why? Has anyone heard about Old Testament? Anyone familiar with Christianity? So Old Testament is one of their scripture. I'm not not familiar with it, but I like this particular part. So just for an analogy, there is a story of a person named Job. It is spelled as Job, but it is pronounced as Joe. English is a funny language, and that's this is going to happen. But why do you keep B if you don't want to pronounce it? I can even understand that part. But it's Job, and he was a very good person. He was doing everything right, perfect, like a perfect person. And in spite of that, there were lots of adversities coming into his life. He had lots of problems and he lost everything that he had. his wealth, his family, and everything he lost in his life. And eventually he tried to maintain the faith in the God, but ultimately he broke down. He says that, what is this happening? Does God exist or not? And then at that point, in his frustration, God appeared in front of him. So God appeared in front of him, and then he challenges God. Why? Why this is happening to me? And although I have some idea of it, but I'm going to read it from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, I found out this particular incident. So God, in God's God's response, there are three themes in the God's response. First is God's sovereignty and power. So God is, like when Job is asking Joe is asking this question, why? Then God has answered this. This is the first answer that God gave. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. So what do we understand from this is that God emphasizes his role as the creator and sustainer of the universe, pointing to the intricacies of nature, the stars, the weather, and the animal kingdom, all of which are beyond human comprehension. I hope you understood what God was trying to say there. So it's like this whole universe is, and this creation existence itself is very, very complex, and God's role is not easy or actually at all possible for us to understand how God behaves and how God's plans comes into action. So in this answer, Krishna or God is basically explaining to or expressing to Job that, when he asks, where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? He's not, these are more rhetoric questions. He's not expecting Job to answer the questions, but what he's trying to emphasize is that, like, I am the one who laid the foundation of the earth, and this is my, this creation has been created by me. So don't doubt it that, I'm managing it properly. So don't think that it is something wrong is happening here. Okay. So the second theme was the human limitation. God contrasts his infinite wisdom with Job's limited understanding. We all have to understand this particular thing, that even though God were to reveal himself to us, we still won't be able to understand, and we still won't be able to know him. If you have seen, there is one particular animation that has been created. It starts with our home, like this is our home. Then the camera basically goes high. It zooms out. It zooms out and it shows that you are in the province of Ontario. Then it zooms out. It goes into Canada. Then it zooms out. You are in the planet or continent of North America. Then it zooms out. And then it goes and goes. So then it goes to the universe, and then it goes to the galaxies, and then it goes to the multi-universes and multi-galaxies. Then at that time we realize that the extent of God's creation is so big that it is impossible for us to understand God or to know God. So knowability of God is not a question that we can potentially challenge, that why we cannot know God. We cannot know God because we are very finite. So what did God say to Job? He said, do you give the horse its strength or clothe its neck with the flowing mane? Okay. Who gives the strength to the horses? So again, he's trying to emphasize that it's me who is giving strength to the horses. And the third one was the third one is the incomprehensibility of the God's justice. So the question he asked God is, would you discredit my injustice? So what he's saying is, while Job had questioned God's justice, God points out that his ways are beyond human understanding. You cannot understand. You know, if you think about it, we many times question God's plan, right? Whenever we make plan, I was talking to Panchmi today also, that we keep making plan, but whenever we make plan, Krishna is laughing. So we are at least providing him some entertainment, because we plan and Krishna thinks that, look at this person, so many times his plans has not worked, but he still wants to plan. So like it's like Krishna is saying here that why are you questioning the justice that I am doing? You think that I am not doing justice, but this is what the true justice is. And you are very, very limited to understand how this justice is going to, roll out in future. And the last principle is, I'm not able to understand, so I'm not going to. And then after this, Job's response to God is, Job humbly acknowledges God's greatness and his own lack of understanding. He says Job is telling to God, surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. So Job repents the challenging God and submits to God's sovereignty. And also after this, God restores Job's fortunes, blessing him with greater prosperity than before. So this is part of the Old Testament. But what we are trying to get from the whole thing is that God did not give any direct explanation to these questions, but somehow Job understood that he is finite and God is infinite. He understands that whatever God does, it is for his own good. It's really very, very difficult at times to accept that fact that, okay, my hand is cut off in a machine, and I have to understand that it's for the best. It has happened for the best. But that this kind of this kind of thinking is actually really, really very, very, very useful. Simply because in that case you will never get any frustrations or any bad feelings for God. You will always feel that God is going to do something right for me. So ultimately, the fact is that we can't know why something specific happens in this world. We cannot know that what is appearing to be bad at this point is actually meant to be good in the long run, because we don't have the bigger picture. What we have is a very limited picture, and that is barely immediate future or immediate present. That's all we care about. But God has a much better and much bigger perspective than what we have. We do ascribe this kind of things to, at times, that to law of karma, right? We say that I think I must have done something bad in my past life, and that is why this thing is happening. But in every aspect, it's not really very satisfactory answer. When we hear this thing that you broke your leg, you must have done something bad in your past life. But can we know what did we do in that life? What exactly happened in the previous birth or way before that? Why this is happening? We cannot know that. So when that aspect is not known to us, it is very difficult, and it is not very satisfactory answer that it is because of the law of karma. Although it is true that it's at some point or some level, it is the law of karma that is doing it. So there is no intellectually satisfactory answer to the problem of evil. What is important in the law of karma? Maybe someone can bring up their understanding. It's not useful. That's what we concluded, that to know about why this has happened to us or what we did in the past that this thing has happened. But why is it important that law of karma, to know about, understand about law of karma? It does not matter that in the past something you have done and you are getting the results of that.
Easier to accept it.
Sorry?
Easier to accept. Surrender.
It's easier to accept, yes, but there is one thing.
No,
Sorry?
accept what's happening, I mean. If you don't know what you've done in the past, obviously, right? If you know what you've done in the past, then it's a lot, it makes it simpler, but if you don't know, you can't change the past. So
Yes.
therefore, if you attribute that to karma, then you accept.
Yeah, but why is it important that to understand? Still the law of karma is important to understand. In what, for what?
Present karma will determine the future.
Yes. So, to put it in a nutshell, it's because the law of karma is that our actions matter. It's not important what we did in the past, but to understand that our actions matter. That's why law of karma is important. So focus of karma is not backward, but it is forward. Our actions have consequences. That is what we need to take from. That is the take home thing, that okay, whatever happened, but whatever is going to happen, it will depend on what we are doing at this point. So our actions have consequences and we have to make wise choices. All of you have made a wise choice. You did not go to a bar today. I'm not saying that you normally go to bar, but you did not go to the bar today, and you are here to, glorify the Lord. You are here to, hear about Krishna. So all those things. So these are the wise choices that you make. I'm just trying to promote ISKCON Oakville here.
So,
I always feel it's very unfair that we are suffering of something which we are not aware of in past life. I mean, this is really very injustice.
Knowing it is not useful. That is
Knowing
the
it's
point.
easy to accept what he said. Okay, I have done something, so I'm going through it.
Yeah.
But without knowing, suffering something in current,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like.
What you did is not knowable because we have very limited capacity to remember anything, or we don't even remember what we ate yesterday. So it's and it is, in a way, it's a blessing in disguise. That lack of memory is a blessing in disguise. Otherwise,
It's gonna taunt you, right?
oh yeah, you cannot leave if your memory is really, what they call, like something that you can remember just by looking at one thing and you will remember forever. That's really,
Photographic.
yeah, photographic memory is not really worth having it, because you are going to remember that, Kapil Prabhu did something wrong to me this particular day. He, he did something. He didn't do anything, but that's,
Not
so.
you, But I also think, if we know that, the other consequence would be everybody would start judging God's justice also. If I know that I am suffering this because of that karma,
Mhm.
and somebody else believes, oh, this is not the right justice. Again, my point is,
Yeah,
if you know that,
I mean,
nobody will start
it will
questioning God himself, that
Yeah.
probably his justice is not right. Today I don't know what I'm suffering for, or whatever is this for. But if everybody knew what is it for, all of us would start applying own judgment to the law of karma itself, that
Yeah.
whether the
We
consequence
have our
is
own
fair or
versions.
not.
Yeah.
But what does Bhagavad Gita say about karma? The law of karma is karma gahana gati. So it's very, very complex calculations that happens when it comes to, if you are suffering today, it is not necessary that you did anything in this life. It may be in previous life, it may be previous to previous life, and it may be a combination of everything that you have done. You have no idea, and even if it was given to you, it will probably come in a form that you can never understand it. So what is the easier way? Accept it.
Not know it and accept.
Accept it. Accept that this world is perfect. This world is perfect, and nothing wrong can happen to us. Nothing that we don't deserve ever happen to us. Even if it is getting something or losing something, nothing wrong ever happens to us. And when you accept that with full conviction, then your life becomes easier, much easier and simpler. Simply because you know that nothing wrong can happen to me. When nothing wrong can happen to me, then you are not going to blame anybody, you are not going to curse anybody, nothing. Because you know that it is because of me only. These consequences are coming because of me only. You don't need to, study what you did exactly wrong. And just as I said, it's important to remember that every action that you do has a consequences. And when you do that carefully, and the issues don't, pop up.
And that's why confident, I don't do anything wrong to you. I didn't. That's why you got me here. So you gave me good.
But Prabhuji, that's Newton's law too, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Every action has a equal and opposite reaction.
Actually, Newton didn't find anything new. It was just learning from Gita.
He was
Try to
just-
realize.
I think just one point we talked about suffering, and last week, or the week before, was problems are inevitable. Suffering's a choice.
Absolutely. Suffering is a choice.
That's your choice.
It's a choice.
So
When you think about it,
Everybody
that makes sense, right? That makes perfect sense.
yeah, because that's what you're doing with it. You can escalate it, you can increase the problem, or you can accept it.
Yeah. When you accept something,
Surrender.
then half the things, half the frustration and half the pain goes away. As soon as you accept it, it's good. But otherwise, you are going to continuously blame one person or the other person. And if nothing else, if nobody is available, you are going to blame to God.
Most of the time we are suffering in our mind, it's just the past we are suffering, or might be fear of future. That's all.
Yeah. But like Prabhu said, suffering is optional. It's a choice. If you want to suffer, you can suffer, and if you don't want to suffer, you are not going to suffer. So, yeah. So unknowability of the God's plan is a universal reality. It does not lead a devotee to frustration. It leads to a greater determination to do what is doable. What's the formula? Do what is doable. That's it. Nothing else. We can see this kind of determination in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's life is full of reversals. When he started, when he met his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he told him that you go and preach in the Western world. But he did not accept that initially, but he wanted to still do the preaching. So he said, everybody needs money, okay? Period. Whatever you want to do, you need money to do those things. So Prabhupada thought that, let me do some business, and I am going to make money, and I am going to use it fully in the Krishna service. So he started one business in Kolkata, and then it didn't work. He was in pharmaceutical business. So he was making medicines and he was like an apotex. He was mixing things and powders and all those drugs, and it's a different period. So we may not be able to understand that. But he was in pharmaceutical, so he started business in Kolkata, and it didn't work. So then he took it. He didn't get frustrated. What he did, he says, okay, maybe I need to switch places. So he went to Mumbai, and then he started his business in Mumbai. It didn't work. So again, he didn't get frustrated. He said, okay, let me try somewhere else. Then he went to Prague. And in Prague, he started his business. It didn't work. So then ultimately he thought, I think I need to do, something else. So then he tried to do preaching within India. But it still, his godbrothers didn't really help him. And there was no, there was no basically acceptance of what he had to teach. So then he said, okay, I have to see if I can go to US. So then with great difficulty in a steamship, in a cargo ship, Jaladuta, he went to New York, not New York. Where he landed? He landed in
Boston, right?
Butler, Pennsylvania. So Boston, so then he went to Butler. So in Butler, he was, he was more of a curiosity.
that a Swami has come from India. And that's pretty much what it had. He tried to do preaching and all those things. It didn't work. It didn't really go the way that he wanted. So then from there he moved to New York. In New York, the elite group, the high class group, nobody wanted to listen to him. And so what did he do? He thought, okay, let me try the counterculture. What's the counterculture? That's the hippies. Says, let me see if I can. And then he says, they are not going to listen to me. If I give a class, he's not going to listen to me. Just let me do kirtan. So he's in the Tompkins Park. He just sat and took his kartal. He had a pair of kartal and he started to do kirtan. And then people started to accumulate. And then he thought that maybe some of these people will be receptive of what I have to say. So then they asked them that, okay, please come to the place where I am, 2nd Avenue. On the 2nd Avenue there was a small storefront that he could rent. And then it started and it picked up with the hippies. But in couple of years he realized that it is he didn't want to identify with the hippie culture. He wanted this movement not specifically for a hippie movement. He wanted this movement for everybody, and everybody should be welcome in that. So he didn't want to identify with hippies. So what he did, he started to focus on anybody other than hippies. And ultimately, before he left this planet, he could establish 108 temples all around the world, and he had a full-fledged International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So if he wanted to get frustrated, because wouldn't you question that? And if you read Srila Prabhupada's the poem in the Jaraduta, he wrote this poem, and in that you should read this poem. It's really a beautiful poem. He talks about that, Krishna, I don't know why you have brought me into this situation, and I cannot understand, I cannot know your plan. Now, if you want me to dance, make me dance. That's all. So he was not feeling bad about with Krishna, that why did Krishna did, why is he not, I'm trying to do something good for Krishna. I'm trying to serve Krishna, I'm trying to serve my Guru Maharaj. But he's creating, instead of helping me, God is giving me problems. But he didn't say that. He was completely determined, and he moved forward without any kind of animosity towards God. Instead, he just accepted that, okay, it's not my plan, it's your plan, and let me go forward with whatever is your plan. So we can use a metaphor of a puppet, that we all are, in a way, we are puppets. We are, and the puppet here is Krishna, right? Like we all move, but we all do. But when we look at this kind of metaphor, sometimes this kind of metaphors do not really completely explain what we really need to understand. It can give you a partial explanation that yes, we are all in the hands of Krishna, and we are like puppets in the hand of Krishna. But at the same time, what we have different from the puppet is that the puppet do not love the puppeteer. That is number one. Okay? Puppets don't have any consciousness to love the puppeteer. And God doesn't want just our compliance. He doesn't want us to be like robots. He has given us independence. He has given us independence. What he wants is our heart. So puppet can convey the idea of one idea of surrender, but it is not a complete idea of the surrender. In today's world, parents have a lot of anxiety. What is the biggest anxiety for parents is their kids and children, right? What's going to happen to my children? Some of the devotees will think, will my kids become devotee? That would be their anxiety. But more than that, like every parent has this anxiety that will they become a good human being? Will they be able to, live in this world with with enough money, and will they be able to afford themselves? How is that all those going to? We are all going to worry about those things. So, say for example, someone was to give us an option, and they would say that we all have complaints about our children, right? Like that he's not doing this, he's not studying properly, he's doing this, that, and they say. But if someone is going to tell us that let me use AI and create a perfect child for you, and let me replace your son or daughter with that perfect child, how many of us would agree with that thing? Anybody? We don't want to. It's not that we want
Is it
perfection.
another child or? I'm joking, bro.
You had your chance. It's done.
No AI, right?
Yeah. So God has given us the independence not to take it away. That is why He would not, interfere into when we plan. He does not interfere. He does not say that you shouldn't plan. He has given us, to use it, but we use it in a very good manner. Independence should be used properly, right? It's something that should not be wasted. So when gopis surrendered to Krishna, their individuality was not lost. They still had the choice. When Krishna plays flute, they did not have to go back. Krishna did not demand anything. But Krishna gave the independence that you can come, I'm playing the flute. And they went. So he left that independence to every living entity. So Prabhupada was completely surrendered to Krishna, right? But at the same time, he did not just sit idle. When something wrong happened in his life, he did not just say that, I don't know what is God's plan, so I'm not going to do anything. That is not the option. Okay? When we do not understand God's plan, does not mean that we don't do anything. We don't do planning. We talked about that God laughs at our plans. Does not mean that we do not plan. We still have to do the planning. But always understand and accept that there is a bigger and better plan that Krishna has for us. And have faith, have trust that plan is 100% going to be much better than the plan that we have. This time when we went to pilgrimage, we had thought of a lot of things that we will do this, we will do that, and on day 1 we'll do this, day 2 this, day 3 this. It's amazing that for the entire 16 day of our travel, not even one thing happened as per our plan. Not even one thing happened as per our plan. And yet, everything that happened was extraordinarily, wonderful. Everything. I'll give you just one example. We had thought that we will go to Govardhan Parikrama, walking Parikrama of Govardhan, 22 kilometers, on last day, so that we can then take rest and we can do the other things first. Otherwise, we'll not have energy to do this thing. So that's what we had planned. When we went to the ISKCON Welcome Center and asked them that we want to do this way, so they said, yeah, okay, we'll do it. But then he called me back. He said that there is a likelihood of rain on day 3. So if you want to do the parikrama, you do it tomorrow. Otherwise, you may not be able to do the parikrama. He says, okay, let's do that. And we did the parikrama. And as there was one Prabhu who was available, so he came as a guide. And then we just surrendered to him that, okay, Prabhu, you take us. We had plans that we are going to go to Shyam Kund and Radha Kund first, because those are considered as the eye of the Lord. So we thought we will go there. So when we got down from the car for the walking parikrama at Govardhan, the Prabhu did not take us to Shyam Kund, Radha Kund. He took us straight to another point from where we were going to start. So I said, okay, our plan is not working, whatever is happening, let's go. So we started, and that Prabhu, like he was so nice a guide that he showed us the places that where we had never been to in the Govardhan Parikrama. So that is something great happened. Then there are routes. When you are traveling, there are different. So there is one road which is little bit away from Govardhan, and it goes around. The road is not very close to Govardhan, so you can see Govardhan, but you can't really touch Govardhan or any of those things. So normally we go to the road, but then this Prabhu said that okay, let's go closer to the Govardhan. So he took us to a route where only walking can happen, and a little bit of climbing and like up and down and all those things. But we were right close to the Govardhan. So it was such a wonderful experience. Then, as we were walking forward, we had this desire that we wanted to eat the Brajvasi's roti and sabji from the Brajvasi's hands. This was our dream. So we were just walking, and near where the Srinathji appeared, which is I forgot the place's name, but that place where Srinathji's deity appeared, at that point, we saw that there was one Brajvasi offering food to Govardhan. Right there, he had made a kind of an altar, and just below the foothills of Govardhan, right? Govardhan is right there, and he was doing the offering. So another desire we had was that we wanted to get Shila, Govardhan Shila, for bringing here and then worshipping it. So we stopped because he was doing the offering. So let's wait. So then we asked him that is it possible that you give us a Shila? Because the instruction is that you should not take any stone from Govardhan, but you should get it only from a Rajvasi. If Rajvasi gives, then you can take. So then said, can you give us a Shila? We want it for worshipping in our temple. He says, no, I will not give you the Shila. It is forbidden to give the Shila simply because it is, he says, Govardhan has come to Vrindavan. There is a story for that he wanted to stay in Vrindavan. That is why he is here. And if you are not supposed to take him away from Vrindavan. That is, he doesn't like it, and that means you are offending, and it is offense. So don't do that. So it says, no, it's okay. Brajvasi says, we have to accept it, right? So he says, okay, thank you. And then we saw that his offering was done. So we simply put our hands forward. Can you give us some prasadam from what you have? So he thought for a moment, says, okay, wait. And then he took the plate back inside. So inside he had another deity that we understood. So there was another offering parallel he was doing inside. So he took both of that, and then he gave us half of Brajvasi's roti, which is this big, okay? Half roti, sabji, and he gave it to each of us, 3 of us. So like it's everything feels like miracle. And I'm just giving you just this one example. So we saw everything in Govardhan which we had not seen before, and the experience was fantastic. So when we think about it, if my plan had worked, would any of those things would have happened? No, right? So when you accept that my plan is not necessarily going to be better than God's plan, and God's plan is always going to be better than me, then everything works out very well. Okay? So what to do when we don't know what to do? Okay? But we make plan, but we don't know whether that plan is going to work or this plan is going to work. So what to do when we don't want to do? So it's important that we keep the service attitude. Service attitude has 2 aspects. One thing that we need to remember, that when we are doing service, we are servants and we have to accept our limitations. So servants, if you are a servant in a mansion, like big building or big house, then can you make decisions on finance, that what needs maintenance or any of those things? You can't do those things, but you can do, what you can do is you can at least clean the mansion, right? So any kind of service or seva bhav we should remember that it has got limitations. So Prabhupada had lots of reversals in his life, and still he never became bitter. So whenever we are doing service, our responsibility is not to serve Krishna in one particular way. It is to serve Krishna. Not in one particular way, it is to serve Krishna. We should not be attached to particular way of serving. We are attached to the principle of serving. We are attached to the principle of service. So like whatever form the service comes to us, but it doesn't matter. We are connected to, we are going to do the seva. So just to summarize in one sentence, the entire class is we have to hold our plans lightly and hold our Lord tightly. Okay? So with this, I land this, and so thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Have any questions or comments? We still have 5 minutes, and you must ask questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, why does Krishna put us in such dichotomous situation? You know, on one side, he gives us a consciousness to think and make plans and do execute things. On the other side, you know, we are also. It is also said that man proposes and God disposes. So why put us through this dichotomous situation in the first place?
So that's what we talked about in the entire class. Prabhupada never questioned this. That's the thing. Prabhupada, when he had reversals, he tried to do everything for Krishna. Everything for Krishna. He left Vrindavan to go in a steam ship where it was, you know, like it's a cargo ship. He had heart attacks and he went there. He had so much difficulties. He never questioned why. But he said, if you read Prabhupada's poem, he said that you must have a plan.
I'm not saying why it is happening to me.
Yeah.
Fine, you know, it is because of karma, whatever, agreed.
Mm.
But why put us in this first situation, you know, where I give you the consciousness to think, to execute, to do this, and then also whatever you will do is also not going to work out.
So, like things, I'm not sure if I'm, you know, like I mean, being very clear about it, but you know, we talked about law of karma, right? So if law of karma is impacting the things that we are doing or we want to do, then you know, like what is the solution there? It is law of karma. That is number one. Okay, that is it's not very satisfactory answer that I did something wrong, that's why something wrong is happening. But the more important thing to understand is that whenever we see this apparently bad situations or reversals in our lives, we are looking at it from a very narrow mind or narrow perspective. All those things that happen which we think is really not right or really bad things that are happening are actually the best things that are happening to us. And the whole point of this class is that we need to have that faith that God has a plan and it is a better plan than what I have. In spite of everything that happens. Prabhupada, if he had stayed in India, I'm just giving you, in his entire life, if he had just stayed in India, all of us won't be sitting here and talking about Krishna or Prabhupada at all at this point. So many people, millions of people were impacted because of the reversals that Prabhupada got in his life, and he ended up in New York, and ultimately he was able to spread to the mission. So he was being prepared for what is coming in the future. If you are going to complain about something that is happening today, that means that you are doubting on Krishna's fairness, doubting on the world's fairness, that world is a perfect place, doubting on everything. You are thinking that you know better than what Krishna does.
in that case, no. So I don't say that, he's actually the best. But isn't it better than to give up your own consciousness and just follow whatever be an actual puppet and not have that ability to think in the first place?
No, but that is robotic. That's not what Krishna wants. Krishna wants our heart. Krishna wants us to do things with our own choice. Bhakti is a choice. Bhakti cannot be forced. Bhakti cannot be forced into anyone. Even if it is your family member, your kids, or friends, or anybody, you cannot force it. Why? Because Krishna has given us this freedom. This is the freedom. And if Krishna was to make us robotic, then where is the love in that? Where is the love? Love can be expressed only if you have the freedom. Without freedom, love means freedom. If you don't have freedom, that means that you are just a dictator. You are just making things happen. What is the use of that thing? When someone with his own heart goes to Krishna, that is what Krishna wants. Not with robotic way. That okay, everything is perfect. You are going to do 16 rounds. You are going to do this, and then you are going to Krishna. Okay, but that means that I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice what I am going to do. I don't want to do chanting. So Krishna is willing to accept even that. That's your choice. Love. This is all about love. I think we have run out of time. And so.
Prabhuji, can I? This mic doesn't work. I need to make 2 comments on. I've been waiting, so.
Yes.
I'm gonna make them anyways. Just kidding. So my family's probably sick of hearing this, but I've told them, if you look at 6 months, look at 6 months in the past, and then you'll see the plan. That plan is executed.
Yes.
and it's taken place. So don't look at today. Look at 6 months in the past. Think about all the things that have happened to you. Then you'll understand why it happened.
Yes.
That's one comment. And the second one is...
Can I summarize that
Sure,
point?
sure.
It's you can connect the dots backwards. You can never connect the dots forward.
Exactly. So the other one that just when you said that if something goes wrong, why did God do this? Why did this happen? Or that when something goes well, we never said that God did that. We said I did that.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Actually, who did it?
Yeah.
So just execute the plan.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
I think all the good summary, and maybe we should have someday you teaching us, Prabhuji.
We're gonna do a podcast. Me and
Yeah.
he doesn't know yet. Kashyamuni Prabhu and myself.
No, that's really good. I think today's class would be, I would say, most tangible takeaways, right? I hope that everyone had taken away something, why it is happening and why it is me. I really like the fact that when something good happens, we never say, someone else is doing. We say it's me, and something wrong is happening. It's either God or society. So I think that's a powerful takeaway. The other thing is also regarding knowing about the karma. Why it is important to know about it today is so you can make better choices for your next life. It's like you are in this video game. You have to play by the rule, and the rules are you have to make good choices, right? We cannot cry about why it is happening to me. This is the game. And we chose to came in this world, so we have to play it by the rules. So I hope that everyone has gotten something to take away from today's class to reflect. We'll be going to the next segment of the program, which is Kirtan, but we have few announcements to make before that. And our own beloved Panchmi Mataji back with the band.
I forgot to tell you all the announcements I have to do.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I just interrupted her. Sorry about it. But this announcement is for ISKCON Oakville Sunday School. The parents, you would have seen the message in the group. So we are done with the first semester of 2024-2025. The second semester for the kids starts from February and it will go on till the summer. So you can, pay the fees and you can, enroll your kids, so that we will make the preparations accordingly, because we have many festivals planned with the kids and all the celebrations planned with the kids. So please let us know. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Lots of festivals are starting to come from 10th of the February. The announcement is that quite of new faces has came to us. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay. So quite a few people has approached me, and I think individually is telling, rather than that I would like to say openly right now. So prasadam is cooked by all the Mataji and Prabhuji, and we have one rule which the person who is wants to serve prasadam, cook bhoga. Prasadam is once we offer to the Krishna. So person who wants to offer that bhoga to Krishna has to at least chant minimum 4 rounds every day. So this is the rule we have been asked to be followed. It's not mine. The rule I have in fact diluted, as Prabhupada diluted to 16, I have diluted to 4. So that is I have diluted, but if anyone, and we need help. We do need help, as all of you, and sometimes we are sick, sometimes we have some other, we do need help. So if Prabhuji has convinced you to do chant, please do chant. If he has done, or if he's not, we will make sure next class will be given for your chanting, how to do chanting. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, if they cannot make prasadam, they can wash the utensils.
Yeah, they can. You can help also in washing utensils, cleaning. Because I come around 3 o'clock here, so I have to take the deities to sleep, put them to the sleep. So sometimes all of us are here. So if somebody also pick up that service, we will be very grateful to you. Anything else? That's only, yeah.
I also would like to mention, because today, as we spoke, I think in the beginning, some of you have joined later, we have a special day today, Kunal Prabhu and Dipti Mataji's anniversary also, as well as this week's sponsor for the yoga center is Monica Mataji and family, and Dipti Mataji and Kunal Prabhu.
Special today?
Yes, it's my daughter's birthday.
Hey, Hare Krishna. And so, hey, Hare Krishna, Avnindra is also there. So can we all say the Hare Krishna?
So it's Avnindra's birthday today, so we are going to
In fact,
sing.
and father and mother should also come.
Yes.
Because anniversary, right?
Monica Mataji, you can.
Your daughter also, you come, your daughter is here. So you just come and get the blessing from all the devotees. Come please.
So Dipti Mataji, Kunal Prabhuji, Monica Mataji,
And Tanvi Mataji also can come.
Tanvi Mataji also can come.
And Sagar Prabhu and Pritika Mataji also can come and they place themselves. Tanvi was here, na? This time. Come here. Yeah. Okay. We just want all of us. This is our family, and we want anybody's birthday or anything is look up. I have my paper. If anybody has, please raise your hand. Marriage and anniversary. We don't want anything other than the giving blessing right now.
Okay, so we are kind of blessing ourselves. It's in the Hare Krishna style. So Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Rama to you, Hare Rama to you, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama to you. Thank you. Okay, so I would request all of you to raise, because we are going to have a closing kirtan. bit of a dancing. So we'll just clean up this area and find some space for us to dance.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare everyone louder please. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकार्य अष्टादश भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकार्य अष्टोत्तर भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की मथुरा धाम की वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारिका धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेत भक्तवृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Deve Shesha Shringivadi Pashyata Desha Karni Jai.